It actually might surprise you, but I use construction paper for painting landscape backgrounds in my elementary classes. This is the True Ray brand. It's a sulfite paper and it's really smooth. When I'm setting this up for students, I cut egg cartons in half and then each student gets their own. Before students arrive, I pour in the turquoise paint. The kind of paint that I'm using is Crayola washable. But it's the Artista too. It's not just the regular washable. It's a little bit thicker, has great colors, but it's washable. And I filled 2 of the egg cartons with white. I typically will let the students choose what color they want for the ground so that all the paintings are not looking the same. We are going to be using these Royal Langnickel brushes, super big, great for painting backgrounds. Typically when I'm doing these landscapes, I'm doing 18 by 24. Today I'm just going to demonstrate on a smaller piece of paper so you can get the idea and try this out in your art room. I have the students start off with the turquoise paint and I have them paint a couple of thick stripes at the top of the paper. Now, typically I will cover the tables when my students paint. I have in another video my whole painting setup and how I get ready for painting with students and how I keep the paint usually to last from class to class. Then once they've done a couple of stripes there, I have them just kind of unload the paintbrush. So just use what's ever left on there and go to about the middle of the paper. Then without washing their paintbrush, I have them dip the paint into one of these little white sections here. And they're going to go across and make a little white line here. And that's going to be their horizon line. Now later on, they could add in more ground lines, of course, if this is an upper grade. They're going to dip the paintbrush into the white paint and then go over this horizon line again. So this is going to be the lightest spot on their paper here. And then they're just going to blend it up. So it does take quite a bit of paint to get this effect and get it looking really smooth. It's important to get students to realize that they need to paint all the way to the edge of the paper. But this gives a really great effect. So what's going to happen here is it's almost ombre. It's going from dark to light, making it seem like this part is really, really, really far away. Now, my students would go and wash their paintbrushes and then select the color that they'd like for the ground. For the sake of time, I'm just going to switch to another paintbrush, but they're going to do the reverse with the ground. So the darkest color is going to be at the bottom, just like I did the solid blue at the top. For the bottom, they're going to go green all the way across here. And then just kind of emptying their paintbrush there. And then they'll dip into the white and they'll paint another line of white right here in the middle. But this time they're going to blend down. Making sure that they paint from edge to edge. So when they get about this far, students can check their work that it should be going from the darkest color to the lightest color there on the horizon line. And before the paintings dry, so on this very first day of the lesson, I would have them tap in the clouds. And you really could use any paintbrush for this. Softer paintbrushes, I think, work better. A sponge brush works. My students have really been enjoying using these little fan brushes from Royal and Langnickel. And you teach them to tap in the clouds. So bigger clouds at the top, and hopefully, you're doing this with 3rd, 4th grade. They've already studied clouds in science class, so it's a great connection. The bigger clouds are going to be near the top of the paper. The clouds are not going to all, of course, come into the middle of the paper and say cheese and pose. The clouds are going to be touching the edges of the paper there. It's going to be a little bit wispier at the bottoms of the clouds than at the top there. And the clouds are not going to be a uniform shape. So you need to reiterate that with your students. They've learned about the different shapes of the clouds. Now they get to try it out in their artwork. So they should not be ovals. They shouldn't be circles. Just kind of random cloud shapes. And they can keep dipping it back into the white paint, but it's also nice that the clouds are a little bit see-through and they're not just like marshmallow white puffs. As the clouds come closer to the horizon line, they're going to be smaller. So the biggest clouds are going to be there at the top, and they're going to be smaller down here. So it looks like these clouds here that I'm just painting in now are further away. Trying to create that illusion of depth in the picture that, not a flat picture, but a picture you could kind of walk inside of, and it's got a little bit of depth to it. And then you may even have some like going right off the edge of the paper. And it's great if you can demonstrate for your students first doing this, or show them a video and then have them do this on their own, and you kind of walk around and guide. When I'm getting super close to the horizon line, these clouds can almost just be like a little line, because we're demonstrating that these ones are really, really far away. So that is just a simple background for a landscape that you could really take in any direction that you like, but it's a great way to start things out and teach your students to layer painting techniques on top. If you're looking for some painting techniques to teach with your elementary art classes, check out this video next.